Let us now introduce contestant number 4, Mr. Keith Anto. Please come onto the stage.
The title of his speech is The Day the World Stood Still. You now have 3 minutes. You may start.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. 29 days ago, 12,000 people died, and even more went missing, following multiple earthquakes, gigantic tsunamis, and even a nuclear meltdown that ended up in paralyzing Japan and bringing the rest of the globe to a standstill. While we can criticize the slow response of the Japanese government and the looming unanswered questions facing the power company and the nuclear watchdog, we have to praise the strength of the Japanese people. Now, rewind back 6 years. This is the aftermath. Back then, it seemed like the terms order and discipline had simply been dissolved or snubbed out of existence. Japan, however, is a whole other story. Despite the earthquake and tsunami calamities that have brought Japan down to her knees, one has to admire the level of conduct the Japanese have continuously shown throughout this period of strife. No looting, no rioting. The people are systematically lined up in evacuation centers without complaint or fuss. And the survivors they also have food rations without fuss or complaint. Maybe a little something to remember the next time we're itching to jump the queue, be it in Hong Kong or anywhere else in the world. Likewise, the Fukushima 50 have been fighting a lonely battle endlessly on several fronts in the war against the nuclear meltdown. They have become the sole occupants of an area that is now a no-go zone for hundreds of thousands of petrified residents. They are the workers. The workers who are selflessly sacrificing themselves in order to try and reduce potential harm to the rest of the world. Sacrifices leads to great achievements. Courage drives the country forward, and discipline empowers. There is a renewed unity among the Japanese people who have shown strength, support, and discipline amid the hardship. There is, in other words, a cause for optimism. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Anto. Mr. Sita will now ask you a question related to your speech.
Mr. Anto, thank you very much. You spoke about the civility and the discipline, which have been very much a feature of the Japanese people's response to the disaster. Many people have commented that they would like to see that same introduced into Hong Kong society. If there was one thing that you could do to try to encourage that sort of attitude in Hong Kong, what would it be?
Well, in Japan, they have many drills to deal with these kind of situations. Although in Hong Kong there isn't much disasters, apart from typhoons and some like typhoons, but Hong Kong can have these kind of drills like the Japan. They can, like suppose flooding, they can put the sandbags and have an experience of what will happen. So therefore, everyone needs experience before starting something. And Hong Kong can do the same thing. Thank you.
Thank you. A second question from Ms. Astus.
With the growing popularity of social media such as Facebook and Twitter and online communicating through GChat or MSN Messenger, do you think that these forms of communication are detrimentally affecting youth today's ability to communicate face-to-face?
Definitely not. The internet has been a social place for people to meet each other. And Facebook and all those social media cannot be, and it can be used for other causes. Suppose if you want to hold a demonstration, it's a place where you can gather people around from everywhere, and you can be united. The internet and social media things are a platform for a whole world to be together. And definitely it will help everyone. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Anto. You may now take a seat.